Adam. Adam.
What?
What are you doing?
Oh, hello. I'm Adam Kantor. That was me picking food out of Danny Burstein's beard and eating it. And you're watching Model Citizen Backstage at the Broadway.
Hey!
So I just figured let's chat for a minute and we can look at your room and look at your soul.
The room is easier to see.
Okay. Well, the soul is blacker. So.
Exactly. You need to turn a light on for that.
So, Broadway debut. A little hotel on the side.
That's correct. A little hotel
on the side.
It was a Fado farce with Tony Randall and Lynn Redgrave. And somebody also making his Broadway debut, a guy named Rob Lowe.
We know that name.
Yeah.
And you were a porter?
I was a porter, and then somebody left, and I was bumped up to a constable. Not like the constable in our show, by the way. Just a constable.
Okay. How did that job come about?
I worked with Tony. It was part of Tony Randall's National Actors Theater, and I worked with Tony in Summerstock. And we got along great. And he was talking about having a National Actors Theater on Broadway. And I said, look, if you ever do that, let me know. And he said, I'll do that. And then about 3 years later, I picked up the phone and he said, Danny, Tony Randall. Just like that. And there he was offering me a job on
Should
Broadway.
we do that right now?
What?
Ready? Okay, I'm telling Tony I'm calling you.
All right.
Okay, ring.
Hello?
Danny?
Yes?
Tony Randall.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Remember when you told me we should have an actors theater on Broadway?
Well, you told me that, but yes, I remember.
Oh, wrong number. Sorry. And then what would have happened? You wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here, but he gave me my Broadway debut, just like that, with a phone call.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great when that happens. Doesn't happen often.
Yeah. So this is your first show, as you said, being like the guy, right? This is your first Broadway show as the...
I've been above the title before in Follies,
right.
Which was wonderful, and I've done shows where I was the lead before, but this was the first time on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Yeah, when it's just mostly you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard show. 3 hours, and I'm only off stage for 13 minutes, the stage managers told me.
How's your body holding up? How's your life holding up? I mean, 8 times a week.
It's okay. It's okay. It's hard.
Did you talk with other Tevias? Or
I did. I got word from other people, too. Yeah. Henry Goodman in London said that... they offered him, after he finished his 6 months on Broadway, they offered him a tour in the UK and also a tour in the United States. And he said, yeah, fine, if I can do 4 performances a week, It is a bear.
How are the challenges that you thought would be the challenges? Are those the challenges that are the challenges?
Yes.
Or what they are?
So they are, yeah. And people like Alan and Alan Cumming and Bernadette Peters. I was about to just say Alan and Bernadette. But they told me, they warned me in a way. It's hard. You have to live like a monk.
Yeah.
And so I literally do a lot of sign language at home, or just mouthing things at home. With my wife and kids. It's weird.
You just sort of shorthand.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they've been so, at least in front of me, and the cast so just supportive and present and here. I love seeing them at the theater.
Yeah, they're here a lot.
Your son was here today, right?
Exactly.
Saw your wife the other night.
Yeah.
They've all seen the show. They're all loving it. Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
So they're having a great time with it all.
So
am I.
So let's go back just for a minute to you went to
birth.
Queens to birth. How did you? Should we reenact that right now? You saw at Broadway.com the birthing of Danny Burstein.
There you go.
Danny Burstein.
Danny Burstein. That's one I've actually never gotten. I didn't have the beard.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That would have been a frightening birth.
My mother, exactly.
But you would have come out and they would have said, Tevya. That guy.
What a treasure. Let's bury it. That's what they would have said.
Good. So you did this stuff, and did you act in sort of middle school, high school?
I went to the High School of Performing Arts, the old Fame School, when it was on 46th. It was right in the heart of the theater district, and there were only 400 kids in the school, and it was a very wonderful, specialized school. A lot of people came out of there, Liza Minnelli and Ben Vereen, and on and on. And so I was one of the last classes to graduate from there. And it was a very, very special place. And that set me on my path. When I was 13, I auditioned for it. And over 4,000 kids auditioned, New York City school kids, and 128 made it in. And I was one of the 128.
Wow.
And I was just I got very, very lucky.
That's amazing. And then, did you do shows there? Was it like constantly?
Oh, we're constantly doing acting classes and in our senior year we did shows. But it was constantly scenes, Williams, O'Neill, and on, all the classics, and
Wow.
American classics.
Yeah. Any standout, memorable performances, either because they actually were, or because of how, in high school you're playing like ridiculous things that you might...
Well, I don't know. I played the policeman in The Visit. I remember doing that and having a great time. I remember working on Medea.
Were you Medea?
Yes, I was. That's not true.
I would love to see you play
Jason. I never played it. I played Jason and Erica Gimple. Do you remember Erica Gimple, who was on the TV show Fame, who's a dear friend of mine, played Medea, and we had a great time doing that. And there were a lot of things that we worked on. It was just a wonderful, wonderful place to go.
Yeah.
And I have so many friends that I've made there for life. Great friends.
And then you continued in college doing theater?
I did. I went to Queens College and did musical theater there and plays as well. But my musical theater teacher there was a guy named Ed Greenberg, who became my mentor and who was also the executive director at the Muni in St. Louis.
Okay.
So when I was 19, he said to me, why don't you come out this summer and, stay for the season? So I stayed for the entire season at the Muni. They used to do a lot of shows over the course of the season that they produced there. But by the time I got there were 3. That they produced for that season. I stayed the summer and did my first equity show when I was 19 was The Music Man with Jim Dale.
Which I saw your wife do.
And Pam Dauber, yes. And she was Rebecca was so brilliant, so good, and it was such a wonderful production that Stroman directed.
Yeah.
And then I did Funny Girl with Juliette Prowse and Larry Kurt. And then then there was a new production of Sleeping Beauty that was done as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did Fiddler at the Muni too, right?
Years later, I did a couple of years later. I did Fiddler with Theodore Bickel, and Thelma Lee, played Golda.
And somebody told you, don't worry about being likable.
Yes, that was the director. That was Jay Harnick, who was Sheldon's brother, who was a fantastic human being, a great guy, and he gave me, actually, it's the greatest piece of direction that I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I was playing Mendel, the rabbi's son, and I was sort of playing it for laughs.
Right.
And he grabbed me one time and pulled me aside, and he said, "Danny, dare to be disliked."
Right.
And I thought,
yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It completely blew my mind because it was not about me showing off or everybody going, "Hey, you were great" after the show. It was about serving the piece.
Right.
And really telling the story the correct way.
Yeah.
And that set me off on a new path.
And now you are the most unlikable man in New York.
F*** you. Get out. Get out.
Any if you look back, an experience or a person that that stands out in terms of mentorship, or did you talk about Greenberg?
Ed Greenberg, yeah, he really set me, he got me my equity card.
Yeah.
He opened 1 million doors for me.
Yeah.
And he became a surrogate father for me, and I love him and I miss him to this day. He's a great man.
Okay, so to Mr. Greenberg.
Yeah.
Finally, to end this, let's do a quick little look at your dressing room.
Okay.
And anything you want to sort of share or show? Or?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Let's see. What
have you got?
I have one of the greatest things. My friend Deb Lyons and her husband Steve Jankowski sent me these 2 boxes of Life cereal.
Love
Get
that.
it? 2 Life.
Oh. Wow.
Some of the stagehands at Cabaret. Some of the stagehands at Cabaret before I left made me a menorah because they knew I was going into Fiddler. It's so sweet, and I treasure that. There are various books and little gifts that were given to me.
I see we both have Wonder of Wonders.
Yes, of course.
Which is great.
I've got an extra copy if anybody needs it.
Okay, we'll auction it off.
This is actually a picture of me when I was 16, and I had to have a yarmulke on my head, when I did Fiddler the first time in community theater.
Who'd you play?
I was just in the ensemble.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of hair there, isn't there?
Wow.
Can you
That's
see
great.
it?
That's
Okay.
great.
And this is actually something that's kind of wonderful. This used to sit on Jerry Bach's piano.
Whoa.
Yeah, and his family gave it to me. And I will treasure this till the day I die.
That's
I love
amazing.
it. It's a beautiful, beautiful statue.
And is that, I wonder if that's modeled off of somebody or...
I'm not sure
amazing.
specifically if it is, but it's just, it's one of the Tevias, and it's really, really beautiful. And the fact that it lived on his piano means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's so special.
And my friend Justin Robertson, who's better known as Squigs, just sold me his original pen and ink drawing of our show. Isn't that glorious? There's so much joy in it. And
You look great.
his work is just terrific. Yeah, there you are.
There's Jessica.
Yeah.
The girls. We love Squigs.
Yeah, he's and not only is he a gifted artist, he's one of the greatest guys in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks, Broadway.com. And let me just...
Get it?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Come back for dessert.
Broadway.com. Don't we just love Danny Burstein? He's my hero. I told him on opening night, I said, I want to be you when I grow up. I do. He's everything. So I hope you enjoyed that. And now we will end this episode of Model Citizen the way we always end each episode of Model Citizen, by answering your Twitter questions. At Lara K127, Laura Klein asks, at Adam J. Kantor, is there any part of Model's personality that you yourself can relate to? BTW, you were amazing when I saw you, thumbs up. Well, thank you, Laura Klein, that's very nice. And yes, there's a lot of Model that I relate to personally. First of all, Model starts as a character with a lot of self-doubt and, let's say, low on the confidence scale. And I would be lying if I told you that I never felt that. Are we going to get real now, Broadway.com? I think we are. I understand and empathize and feel for Model's feelings of being less than. I've been there many times in my life, whether it be in terms of my ability as an artist or as a friend or in a relationship or as a family member or what have you. There's, the moments of self-doubt and extreme self-doubt have definitely crept into my own life, and I draw upon that when I think about Model's lack of confidence in the beginning of the show. And then, of course, I draw upon his tremendous ability to overcome this sense of doubt to do something that is seemingly insane. At Aubrey Spitzer. Okay, love your vlog. What was your first and favorite Broadway show? Hashtag Model Citizen. Well, Aubrey, but the first Broadway show I ever saw was Will Rogers' Follies, and I barely remember it because I was very young. I remember a loud gunshot, and I think I cried because I really didn't like loud noises when I was a child. Balloon popping, things like that. They really disturbed me. And I remember a very beautiful staircase and white angel wings. And I remember being very, very taken in by the whole thing, the whole experience, just like I sat in awe, in radical awe, which is a term that I was taught by a rabbi as a major tenet of faith. So I was in radical awe of my first Broadway show. The first show that really, really stuck with me, though, was Full Moon with Bill Irwin and David Shiner, which is, they're doing Old Hats at Signature, and they're brilliant physical comedians. And I remember I was sitting in the box seat with my family, and they came up to the box, and I was a little kid, and there was no dialogue in the whole show. It was all silent, physical comedy. And they came up to the box, and they started sort of messing with me and doing funny stuff with me. And they did this whole bit with me as if I had stolen their ticket. As if they were going to the theater, and I had stolen their ticket. And Bill Irwin whispered to me, "Take the ticket out of my back pocket." And that was the first time I heard anybody speak throughout that whole experience. And it was like, I was all of a sudden on the other side of things, and I was part of the action. And so I took the ticket out of his back pocket, and he got all upset with me and, messing with me. And then he covered, he was like messing with my hair, and he was like, now throw the ticket over the balcony. And I threw it over, and the audience went crazy, and he was like, oh, why'd you do that, you know? And I was part of the show, so I guess that was my Broadway debut. But it was this magical thing where I was part of something that I didn't even know I could be a part of. And I saw Bill Irwin on the subway a few weeks ago. There was a musician playing on the subway, and he gave the musician some money. And I looked at him and I thought, you've inspired me in so many ways. And I gave that musician some money. And before he left the train, I said, you've inspired me in so many ways. Not only to give that musician money, but as an artist, I just want you to know that. And he was like, thanks, man. Thanks so much. At Tash2897 says, at Adam J. Kantor, when is the cast recording being released? Hashtag Ask Adam. Well, Tash, it's being released March 18th. And guess what? There's a bonus track on it called Dear Sweet Sewing Machine, which is a song that Harnick and Bach wrote for Fiddler on the Roof that was cut before the show made it to Broadway in 1964. It was a song that Muddle and Seidel sang to the sewing machine. And it's a beautiful song, and I sing it with the amazing Al Silber on the album. So check it out. It's a bonus track. I hope you enjoy it. At Jennifer_Lynn89, what's the best fan gift you've ever received? It can be from any show you've done. That's a good question. You know, Jennifer, I read everything that comes in, whether it be a handwritten letter or a tweet, and just a heartfelt response to my work, to the show, to something that they heard, that you've heard me do on a cast album, etc. Something that's just meaningful and simple is great. I don't need gifts. They're very nice when I receive them, and I thank you. But when I have a sense that the work that I do is reaching you on a personal level, that's really nice to hear, and I appreciate it. So thank you for all of those. Finally, at ZachLover4566, Lauren Meager asks, loving the vlogs. Adam, wish I could come see it. My question, what is your favorite part to do in the show? There are so many. Recently, I've been loving Tradition because it's our first moment together as a company, and we're sort of creating the world. And not only are we creating the world for the audience, but we're sort of creating it for ourselves. And it's sort of the moment in which I find I can drop in to the world and to the character and to our relationships. And there's a specific moment in Tradition when I bolt stage right with a few others, and then we bolt backstage left. And then the orchestra really swells, and the horns kind of go ba 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 ba, and it's just very exciting and just thrilling to do. So thank you, Broadway.com. Tune in next week for Motel Citizen, and what can I say? I love you.